Hello, everyone. Fee and Sam, and we're back for another midweek musings. Been a couple of
Hello.
weeks again, hasn't it, Fee? How have you
Yes, it
been?
has. I've been good. I always struggle to remember what has actually happened in the last
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah, but I'm okay. I am tired again, as I was saying this morning in our little pre-musings chat, that I don't know if it's just me or if it's stuff kind of out there that's because I feel okay in here.
Both.
I'm just shattered.
I am
I'm
too.
just
Absolutely
really, really
exhausted.
tired. Yeah, it is like exhaustion, and I'm not entirely sure why. I suspect we are being kind of blitzed by all sorts, that to try and keep our energy levels down.
Well, I've
Which
got
seems
to say it's
to be working.
working.
Yes, it's working. They're doing a good job.
They are.
They
They are.
are. But yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah. I'm yeah,
You're
we'll
here.
just again,
We're here.
I'm still it just yeah, I'm here.
We're
That's
here.
about it.
So let's just leave it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's probably best. It just, yeah, it's just far too long to keep going. Yeah, it's all rubbish. No, I'm okay. I'm all right. Anyway, you did a little talk down in Buxton this week, didn't you,
I
at the Buxton
did.
Freedom Hub, which went
Yes,
incredibly well.
it did. It was absolutely lovely. The title of my talk was, oh God, and it keeps going out of my head. This is another thing as well. Just the memory, and courage doesn't mean you don't get afraid. Courage means you don't let fear stop you. And it was very relevant to me because I've never given like a talk before. I've done little speeches, and I'm okay at that kind of thing, a couple of bullet points or whatever. But this is like an hour long talk followed by a Q&A, and so I was like, oh God, it would have been so easy to just say no, I'm not doing it, but I don't like to just kind of
You've got to face your
duck out
fear.
of these things. Exactly. I can't keep banging on about that and then not do it
Very
myself. So
true.
exactly, you got to walk the
Practice
walk.
what you preach.
Quite so, but such an amazing group of people. If anyone's watching from Buxton, just such an amazing group, really inspiring. They're just doing so much. They've got people up there all the time giving amazing talks and workshops and all kinds of stuff, and just an amazing stand. That's what it all came from, it sprung forth from, which is, it just gives you that lovely warm feeling, that it kind of sparked off so much. And it was just absolutely lovely. Can't wait to get up there again and see everyone, and maybe help, with organizing some things. And but yeah, it was great, and it was actually really enjoyable once I got going, clutching, I wrote it all out, white knuckles round it. And once I got going, it was actually quite enjoyable to do. But it is that getting over past the hurdle of people looking at me and listening to my words. So, but I did say, like, how many of us are just doing things that we never thought we'd be doing in a million years because of all this, the shit show. It's that you've said it a lot as well, that it's although it's been obviously absolutely horrendous, at the same time, you've got this flourishing, like this, people are growing through this, being pushed into doing all these different things that are making them grow as individuals. And of course then you've got the ripple effect of that affects the whole. So it's never all bad, is it?
It's not. It's
It
not. And I
isn't.
did write that this morning in you know what I
I've
do
not
my
read
little
your
morning
post. It just
messages. Have you not this
always
morning? Yeah, I do my little morning
happens.
trying to do positive inspiration posts. It
Yeah,
helps me when my head's all
they're
like,
great.
like
Yeah,
start the day with more of a, "Mm." But
yes.
yeah, it was very much, sort of just taking a breath and,
Mm,
appreciating all the beauty, like looking for the beauty. Like we get so
yes.
run down
Yeah.
by sort of everything we're facing, and that's,
Mm,
on a sort of wider scale and in our individual lives, it can really start to weigh you down. And
yeah.
I'm certainly in that place at the moment, feeling
Mm,
really very weighed down by it all. But
yeah.
it's never all bad,
No.
and even in my life when it does feel so heavy, there are some really, really beautiful things that, I kind of you do sometimes have to really consciously make that effort
Oh,
to kind of
definitely.
just step out of
Yeah.
that frame of mind of
Yeah.
and actually
Yes.
look around and go, well, actually, do you know what? Yeah, a lot of it is shit, but look at this and this and this, and it could
Exactly.
be tiny things, it could be
Yeah.
bigger things, but there really is always, so much kind of really beautiful, nice, happy things that kind of
There
remind us,
are.
that why we're here and what we're
Mm,
doing, and that all the struggles are going to be worth it, and they are worth it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's my
agree
message this
completely.
morning.
Yeah.
And that
It's
brings us on
funny.
to the other thing. Oh,
Yes. Go on. No, no, I was just going to say it's funny that so often I haven't read your message yet, but we're on the same wavelength. It happens all the time that
that's
we've
happened a
just,
lot.
yeah, it's funny, but that was it. Yeah. So what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that the whole, looking for the good brings us on to the other things that we were going to talk about,
Yeah.
which was here in the UK. I can't remember which bill it was the that got
Oh, the
vetoed, and then
rights,
we've
the
had
Bill of Rights, which is a
that's the one. It's
huge
a massive
one.
brain fart then,
That was
but
all,
yeah, that one's
yeah, that was basically our human rights obliterated. When you actually looked into what it meant, it was really scary stuff, that one. So that would have been like carte blanche, to just trample over. This is it, they keep trying to get it in through the back door any way they can. And that was, yet another way. But thankfully, that's been quashed. I mean, yeah, of course, it doesn't mean that we're home free and that we don't have to
no, no,
to keep fighting it because they're not going to give up. But that was a big victory, really. Like, okay, so we don't have anything else enshrined in law yet that basically says no, you've got no rights. Human rights? No. What are they? So, and again, that's just that is down to the people putting the foot down and saying no, absolutely not, and kicking up a stink. So it does make a difference. And then we've had the backlash against the
yes,
CBDCs, haven't we? Which actually made it into the mainstream media because there was such a opposition. I think it was
over
50,000.
50,000 responses, which, I mean, it is very good. If you think, to just a few years ago, perhaps how many responses something like that
It
consultation would have
just,
gotten, pre
yeah,
2020, things would have been brought in a
yeah,
lot quicker with a lot less opposition because less people were aware. Because again,
exactly.
it's, although I think the majority of people are aware of this kind of digital age sort of
Mm.
coming forth, the consultations are never sort of, here's a consultation, we
No,
really want your
never.
opinion. Um,
Exactly.
and that is, again, down to, a lot of the people that are sort of out there
Well,
spreading the word and
big shout out to
highlighting the
Louise.
risks and absolute lack of benefit of having this
Yeah.
digital system and wiping out cash. I read an article actually this morning. I was going through the UK group, and Sittingbourne made it into their
Oh, great.
local
Sittingbourne are
paper.
great.
So they were
They're,
out with their yellow
yeah,
boards, and talking about the CBDC and the
brilliant.
importance of cash and all that kind of stuff.
Mm,
And Tom Lee,
yeah.
he sort of spoke to them, and it was actually a really nice article,
Mm,
considering how many of the articles go. It was quite
yeah.
balanced, and it does feel like this is an issue that actually people from, you know, all kinds
Yeah.
of differing opinions can
Mm,
kind of agree that
this is
actually
not
it's a
good.
bit.
the
it's not
implications.
here, is it? So
But yeah, I wanted to give a big shout out to Louise Creffield from Save Our Rights, because she she does work so hard, full stop, but on the consultations, which are designed to befuddle you, and it all becomes this big headache. And what the hell does this mean? And so the guides are out there, really all across social media, and that has a lot to do with how many people.
there were
There are
quite a
others as
lot of
well, of
guides
course, a lot
actually
of guides, which is
out
brilliant.
there. It is
So to
brilliant that sort
everyone
of there's a
who,
lot of people. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, so that was great, and that, just that push to get people to get on board, and then we see what happens when we do, because a lot of the time, it's tempting to go, oh, it just doesn't make any difference, petitions and this and that, and yeah, those alone aren't going to end the agenda, of course not, but they cause huge issues for them when they're coming up against this resistance. They can't just sweep it under the carpet, because at the moment, at least, they don't want to appear as they are, which is absolute tyrants
Steamrolling.
who are at war with us. Actually, they're still trying to maintain
Yes.
this facade.
Keep this facade up of, oh,
Yeah,
it's real.
so they can't just, oh yes, we don't care what you say.
And
um
again, what I was reading in the mainstream article about the consultation and the amount of responses was again highlighting, they keep going back to this idea of, well, no one's really using it anymore.
mm,
And that does seem to be one of their biggest arguments, is that, well,
mm,
everyone's using, cards and all these, phone apps and stuff like that. So we don't really need cash anymore. And it's, every time I read something about this, there is that kind of sentiment in it. And, I
it-
think it is all those little things on a daily basis. Go to the bank, get your cash
yeah,
out, spend cash, because then that, at least it's one argument out the way. They can't use that
exactly.
argument if
Yeah,
more and more people
yeah,
are using cash. And
yeah.
yes, again, there is not one thing that is going to solve all of this. There's
Mm,
not one thing that's going to go, oh, okay, they're not going to, they're not just going
mm,
to throw their hands in the air and
yeah,
go, oh, fuck it,
yeah,
they're not going to take to it. But all of these little things do make a difference
yeah.
and show resistance. And it is just really important, in our daily lives, that we are sort of trying to take those little steps, even if, you can't do much else. Just,
Yeah. I mean, if we want to keep things, then we have to use them. It's like when I go into the supermarket, I won't go near those automated,
no, me neither.
all that crap, and you get, so they keep those cashiers going behind the tills because people are using them. And I've noticed, actually, there are a lot of people using those, and I think, and often they're using cash as well, I notice. But if they don't, they will go, because there will be the excuse, well, and it's true, that is what they will use. So if we're banging on about keeping cash, but we're not actually using it ourselves, then we're just sort of handing it to them. You have to make the effort, because this is where they get you. It's always about convenience, seemingly. And obviously it's not at all when you get further down the line and see what this is all sort of paving the way for. It's oh my God, it couldn't be further from it. But that is how they get you. And it's just changing those little things. And then, yeah, they haven't got that excuse to keep wheeling out. But I think it's great news that there is such backlash, and that actually it was, I think that, there were a few sort of pointers that were coming up at like the greatest concerns, and one was the loss of cash. So yeah, it's positive. It does show that, and especially the fact that it's got into the mainstream. We've got, alongside all the backlash against the 15-minute cities, the ULEZ, it's not going away. It's
No, there's
actually
been a few
gathering
cities that have managed to
momentum.
completely quash
Yeah,
their barriers, get them all removed and all that kind of stuff, which is, it is fantastic news. And it I think it is really, really important, because I think, you know, sometimes you can end up feeling a little bit helpless, like, you know, what can I do? And it does show that all these little actions that, you know, when enough people are actually stepping up and taking, they do add up and they do make
Yeah,
a difference. And
absolutely.
there
Yeah.
really is, you know, people power. And yeah, I think it's important that we're all remembering that,
Yeah, we're
that we're
seeing it
not.
more and more. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's all an illusion. This notion that we've got absolutely no power and that we're at the mercy. It's just smoke and mirrors, and they're petrified of us actually realizing that, and so they just keep trying. They're in their dying days. This is the end for them. It really is, and I don't know when it's all going to finally end and we'll be in this golden age. I'm really hoping we do get to see a bit of it, but
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
who know? I
After all
think,
this effort, the
yeah,
fruits of our
I
labour.
think
But
we are things are changing. I think we do just have to be prepared for, when something's sort of cornered, like the establishment is, the elites, obsoletes, whatever you want to call them, they will do anything to survive. And that's when they're at their most dangerous. I don't think they've got a hope in hell. They don't. They don't. That I just know. I think
I
that's
do
I
agree
think
with
that's
you. I
why
do
we're
agree with
still
you.
here.
But
If we
yeah,
Even if it's not a really conscious thing, you wouldn't be here. None of us would. You go, well, balls to this, I'm out of here. Because if we were literally going to hell in a holdall and there was no chance, we wouldn't be here. So it's just that kind of, you keep going and keep going. I was actually in my talk, I was saying about how in the very early days, the hostility, that we're trying to plant. I was talking about planting
mm,
seeds, and that most of it, the germination, is going on under the ground. You don't see it, and how often we thought, oh my God, why do I bother? You're being vilified, you're this pariah. All you're trying to do is,
it was brutal
it
in
was
2020,
it was
2021.
horrendous. But look where we are now. And it's
Yeah,
because we kept going. We kept sowing those seeds in what looked like very hostile, infertile ground. And you kind of go away, and then suddenly, all this time later, it's the shoots have burst through the surface, and we've got so much more receptivity
yeah, it's
because
very true. I do keep
it's,
reading that.
yeah, it has changed. We're not in the same situation now by any means. People that are out there with the yellow boards, and so much more support, but loads more honking and people stopping by to get the light papers and running out of them because people just, what they want this information. The 15-minute cities, loads of stands have been producing leaflets and really getting out there in the town centres, and getting them through people's letterboxes, and they're not having that hostile, aggressive response.
Certainly not as
It
much. I
was
mean, you still get the
before,
odd one.
of course, but on the whole, I mean,
But
you
no,
you
on the
get
whole, I do keep hearing
it.
from so many stands, you know,
Yeah,
including, you know, people from mine, that,
yeah.
you know, that it really has, you know,
Mm,
switched to the point where people out are, they do actually seek us out now to find out what we
yeah.
have to say.
Mm.
Which kind of just shows, you know, it
The
is
tide
turning.
is
Tide is
turning. It
turning.
is, and that is because we
We didn't
did.
give up.
No, we didn't give up, and we won't give up. So we just have to keep going. That's all we can do, really. And whatever they throw at us, I mean, they can't. They just, whatever they throw at us, they can't take us down. You think how long they've been trying. And you look at what they're having to do. My God, the psychological operation, the fact that there's no let up, they can't stop for even a minute a day. It's constant, isn't it? That it's full on, flat out. Why? Because we just, and even when they're doing that, well, look, we're still here, we're still laughing, yeah, we have our moments, of course we do. We're only human, but we're still, the fact we're able to laugh about things, even this stuff, that sort of gallows humor that a lot of us have.
Have to retain that.
Yeah. And that you can still recognize that there is this whole other side to life, all this beauty, and you just look at the natural world. I mean, it can look very grim, but actually, in reality, the majority of this place, this world, this planet, whatever you want to call it, this realm, is absolutely stunning. It isn't all polluted and destroyed, and you can go out anywhere and just see this absolute abundance. Even in my own garden, you get this little patch of that's as exposed to all the shit as anywhere else, and yet it's all growing. And that's like us. And it just seems to be, no matter what they throw at us, we're still here. And we're not just here, like, just, it can feel like that at times. Like I said, we have our moments, but the fact that we are able to love and laugh and enjoy ourselves and be appreciative and all of those things alongside this ultimate battle between good and evil is quite staggering. It's like, come on, we're imbued with something here that, if we can really get in contact with that, the fear's gone. It's like we are absolutely all powerful. It's all in our hands. And it is just an illusion that they keep trying to perpetuate, but we're breaking out of it. It might not happen overnight, although it does feel like things are speeding up, doesn't it? We talk about this a lot.
Yeah. I mean, time is definitely speeding up, but in terms of what they're doing, it really does feel like
All
they're,
of it.
throwing everything and the
Yes,
kitchen sink at us.
desperation.
And we've said it time and time again that that really does just reek of desperation. That they know that
Yeah,
time is running out.
yeah.
And it does feel like that, even when it's heavy. There's
Mm.
still this sense. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah, it is. And if it's not all right, it's not the end. So, and if you look, like you were saying, it does take that conscious effort when you are being blitzed, when we are in very dense energy, of course you're going to veer towards, well, that match frequency. So, but when you do make the effort, you only have to look for it. You will find what you look for every time. So if you're looking for doom and gloom and all the signs that it's all going to hell and we're screwed, and all, you'll find it, and it will convince you, and you get caught in that cycle. But if you choose the other way, you'll see all the evidence there. And yeah, and just we just need to have a break quite often from all of this as well, don't we? Just
Yes, which is coming up this time next month. Will be in the final day of the
mm,
Jam for Freedom Festival.
yes, which we cannot wait for.
No, I cannot wait.
That's
4 days
the
of yeah,
vibe raising and just being around like-minded
I'm so
people,
looking.
which is, yeah, just the energy. That's what it's about. That was another thing we're talking about in Buxton, is just like what happens when we get together with people, and if you've got that kind of shared focus and intention, it's so powerful, especially when it is joyous and loving and peaceful and celebratory, in full knowledge of what they're trying, of what they're doing. Oh my god, that's the worst for them. They hate it. it's one thing, you know, I'm not talking about something hedonistic, like, oh, we're just ignore. It's no, it is like the most gigantic F you to be like, yeah, we know, and we're gonna party with that
Beach
intention
party on
to
Thursday.
raise your vibration, and that's what it's all about. This is a frequency war. It's a battle for our energy. It's because that's what creates. So if they can keep you right down here, you're going to keep creating unconsciously that same energetic imprint, and that's what plays out. That's what manifests into 3D reality. So that's why they will do anything to keep you in fear, which is just, it's one of the lowest, you know, fear, shame, they're the very lowest frequencies. You can't stay in there, like, it would actually kill you to stay in them full time. It can't be done. They're that life sapping. But that's why you've got the 24/7 blitzing, that there's always something to be scared of. And once you step out of that, they've got no control. There is no control without fear. And so that's what we're moving through. And that's when they will really try and ramp it up to get you back down there. But I think once you've reached a certain point, it just can't be done. Like, the momentum's too strong, and it is there. The momentum's there. I think we're, you know, I've said it before, we're on that trajectory. And there's nothing they can do. All they can do is to try and divert and obstruct and maybe slow it down, but they can't stop it. It's too late, and it's what we're supposed to, it's our this is our story, you know, this is our cosmic tale. So it's got its ending already written. It's just like the sort of getting there, isn't it?
It feels a lot like this.
It does. It does. But get there we will. But yeah, so there we are. I don't know what else. Is there anything else coming up I'm trying to think of, or things that have happened? I haven't
I
really.
found myself so out of the loop at the moment, just
Well, sometimes it's a good
trying to
thing, isn't
dig
it?
myself out of this, like,
Mm,
but so yeah, I'm quite out of the loop. I am quite, maybe worth mentioning, if people haven't seen the posters yet, September the 23rd, which sounds like quite a long way off.
mm,
But actually, you know, if you think about how quickly time is
no.
passing at the moment, it will come around really quick. But it's the Worldwide Rally for Freedom,
Yeah.
which is taking place all around the world, multiple locations in multiple countries. And I'd really like to see, you know, a big return of the
Mm,
protest
yeah.
in September.
Mm,
It's all been quite quiet. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are quite a lot of things still happening on a local level, which, as we've talked about,
yeah.
is absolutely vital.
Mm,
And you know, is one of the most important things, is this sort of grassroots local level
mm,
action, and sort of, you know, smaller protests and
mm,
demonstration rallies and all that kind of stuff. But I've got to say, those huge rallies where there are, you know, hundreds of thousands of us, you know, and for me anyway, they sort of were really, really important. And I know there's a lot of people that sit there and say, oh, I'm not protesting the government, I'm not you know, I'm not. But for me, that's not what it's about. You know,
mm,
they're saying they don't listen, it doesn't make any difference. And it's not what it's about.
mm,
It is, again, you know, about this energy of, you know, seeing just how many people really care, you know,
mm,
enough to, at the moment, times are really hard financially, and people are spending that money to sort of attend a protest, giving up a day to go and, you know, march around, hand out leaflets and try and raise awareness, you know, seeing you know, people that you might only speak to online, being able to actually have that um energy transference of, you know, hugging and that kind of stuff. And
mm,
it really is such an uplifting kind of experience and event that, you know, I've been really missing those lately.
mm.
Um, And I sort of I would really, really, really like to see them make a comeback in September of these sort of massive rallies where people really do kind of get together and raise that vibration, and we remind each other that there are millions of us,
Yeah, more and more
absolutely
all the
millions of us
time.
that really do give a damn, and we really are
Yeah,
trying, you know. I mean,
yeah.
it does bring a lot of spark and a lot of hope. And I, you know, that
Mm,
for me
mm.
is more why I protest than thinking that, you know, me, all of us being out on the streets is going to make a blind bit of difference to the government. You know, it's not
I
about
think
that. I
it
think it's,
does, though. I think, yeah, not in the way that, people would like.
yeah.
We're out there and suddenly, oh yeah, we're not going to go ahead with that now, obviously, but it does,
I mean,
of
it is a
course, it
demonstration of
has. It has an
resistance,
impact because we have the greater numbers, and there are things that we're protesting against that need those big rallies and marches because it's not it's on that national level. So when we're protesting against the World Health Organization and the World
which
Economic
is what
Forum,
September is about.
all of these yeah, exactly, these giant corporations that are basically, like this over the world,
Power grabbing.
poised to strip entire nations of their sovereignty through these amendments, for example, to the international health regulations, all of those things we need to be protesting and bringing to the public awareness through the big the big demonstrations because yeah,
Yeah,
when
definitely.
we're looking at the 15-minute cities, things like this, we can go direct to our councils and they're filtering through those channels. But when we're talking about national, worldwide concerns, then that's when we do kind of need that concentration of people very visibly representing their countries, really. And again, it's getting the information out there. And
It does have an impact, and I think we mentioned it
absolutely.
before, you know, about people that, yes, okay, the MSM don't, you know, cover it and whatnot, but there are, you know, loads of people that see a massive mob of people giving out leaflets that
Mm,
it does make an impact on them. They talk, and it's that ripple effect, which you again
yeah,
spoke about
that's it.
in Buxton, that,
Mm,
you know, it is all about the ripple effect. And I just think, you know, there's everything. They're throwing everything at us. We need to throw everything at
yeah,
them.
and it will, it will happen again. This is why they were so frantic to push through the public order bill. But why bother if protest was over, and that was all kind
Yeah,
of.
that's true.
It's because they know the stuff they've got coming down the pike. People are going to, oh no, no, and they will be on the streets en masse. Um, and so it will be something that comes back because, like I keep saying, they're not going anywhere until we end them. We end this. They're not going to give up because they're fighting for their survival. They've had thousands of years, who knows, of being in control behind the scenes, and they're losing that grip. And we know what survival fear does to us. We've seen, like, logic, it's gone. You got the whole mass formation psychosis where critical thought's gone. It's acting from that place of fear. And that's the thing to remember. And this is another thing I said, actually, was that the obsoletes, as we like to call them, because they will be made obsolete, their fear is a million times stronger than ours. And it's that fear of being found out, exposed, and you're done with, that drives all of this. Everything they're doing is propelled by fear. And when we stop responding in fear, Like, just stop it. You can have your moment. I mean, you always do, like, oh God, but then instead of running with it,
break the cycle.
exactly. We're feeding that cycle by responding to their fear. And when we stop doing that, you're starting to break the circuit. And it's like, so who's got the power here then? Because they're shitting themselves having to do all this stuff. It's absolute terror. They know they're on the last legs, that we're this close to discovering that, oh, it's actually us that holds all the power here. We are creator beings, and they've been exploiting that to create their hellish vision for, since God knows when. But people are starting to get clued up now. We're moving into that sort of the truth vibrations. So you've got that happening alongside it, and where we don't even have to even really consciously think about, we're just being moved. And so they are the kitchen sink, anything they can, but just remember why they're doing it, and that can remove a bit of you think, oh, they're not these all powerful beings that that we have to kowtow to, that they're shitting themselves. Oh, good. Then it starts to give that give that power back to, well, not give it back, it's never gone anywhere, it's been hidden from us. So they're done. It doesn't mean we rest on our laurels. Oh well, it's all, no, because this is all part of it. We have to do what we're doing, but they haven't got a hope. They haven't got a hope. Just remember that on the down days when it looks like a nightmare, they're doing it from fear, way stronger fear than we hold.
Seems like a nice note to end on, and since we're running out of time,
We
perhaps
are.
we should leave it there.
Yes. So yeah, have a good rest of the, well, it's Thursday, isn't it? So
Crikey,
the
yeah, we're late
weekend,
this week. Yeah, because
the
you were
weekend approacheth. So have a good one. I've got my super stand in St Albans this weekend, so that'll be nice.
Ooh, yeah, I hope that goes well. I really hope the weather's
Yeah,
coming for you.
please come on.
And if you're in Hertfordshire, get
Get
yourself
over,
down
yeah, it'd be
for
lovely.
Veralian Park.
Verulamium, yeah.
That's it.
We've got
Get yourself
music
down there on
and
Sunday.
sound bath and picnic, and just nice uplifting stuff. So
Lovely.
lovely
We'll
to
have a
see
wonderful
you.
time.
Thank you. And yeah, have a good one, everyone. We'll speak to you maybe next week. We'll see what happens, but you
Yeah.
never know. But lots of love to you
Take care of
all.
yourselves. Keep looking for the beauty. It's there.
Always, this is there. Mwah. See
Lots
you
of love.
soon. Bye.
Bye.